And get to sharing the show. We live. They should be tapping in any second. Let me
All
get
right,
this.
all
Let
right.
me get my share game on. Okay. Hold on, that ain't the right one. Okay, the people are here. Good morning, beautiful people. Tasha Bella Michelle, good morning. I see Super Mayor Tiffany Hangard then tapped in. I ain't going. We got a bad one already up here, Super Mayor. We don't need no more. Avis Hopkins, good morning. Asaya Quill, good morning. AKA Mama Quill. We got the beautiful Deborah Luna then tapped in. Vicente Dave. Kobe Fatty, aka Elizabeth P. Finney, good morning to you. Monica Southward, good morning to you. The beautiful Diane Thornton and tapped in. Wanda Smith, Eartha Logan, Karen Malone, good morning, good morning, good morning. I do have a treat for y'all today.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How you all
Let me
doing?
bring the brother on for y'all.
Okay. Oh,
Y'all,
my
you
apologies.
on, you on,
Oh,
you
we on
on.
there?
They can
Okay.
hear you, they just couldn't see you.
Oh, they can't. I
Now
can't
they
see
can
you, but
see
they
you.
can see me.
As you see,
All
I
right.
brought, but I got you in the chat though. I mean,
Okay.
you on the screen. This is Bro Elliott.
Good morning, family. This is Brother Elliot McCants. How you all doing? I figured I know some of you all follow us on Sunday afternoon when we do Black Watch. So I figured since we was on break and if my brother and my sister would let me come in and kick it with y'all for a little bit, and so we can have a further discussion and y'all can see me as well as me see you all. I appreciate it because normally when you all are on, I'm at work, and so this is my opportunity to say good morning and hello to everyone that's here.
Linda Chilton, good morning, good morning. See, now this good bro Elliot McCants, y'all can catch it every Sundays at 1:30.
Yes, yep,
And
yes,
sometimes we have something through the week though. We
right.
put something together. My good brother Marcus Fielder tapping in from Fairfield, California. Then we see the beautiful JoJo Freeman tapping in from Flint, Poison City, USA.
Hey. Now we can't say that now.
Yeah,
That's the propaganda that we're trying to correct.
we
Even though we have the understanding, we're trying to correct that propaganda. So let's not say that. Come on. We got to be better than that. In order to do better, we got to be better.
who else? Hold up, I'm missing some couple people who else that came in. We got my good brother Michael Cooley tapping in from Greenwood, Mississippi, the 662. Avis Hopkins, good morning. We got Michelle Smith, aka Ann. Will Socrates, what it do? L, the Golden Child Sharp. Good morning. Thanks for tapping in. RJ Cat. We're gonna get in some trouble since RJ Cat didn't made it here.
Oh, good. Let's get with it.
Good trouble. Marshall Green, Miss Spring Heron. New one, good morning. Merck 76, good morning. Marcia A. Tarver, good morning. And then y'all know one of my ops then tapped in. Taz Montana 313. That's T from the
that's
D
that's my girl.
for show. We got beautiful Barb Harrington and tapped in, and we got Darnell Meredith.
Yeah. Good morning,
Deborah,
Darnell.
okay, JoJo, it's not true. We have been poisoned, and we are being poisoned in Flint every day. Don't
No,
forget it.
no. So let me respond to that
Go
real
ahead
quick.
and respond to
Okay.
it.
So now I do understand I'm a historian, right? So the other thing that I'm saying is that's not only that's the case, that's true. But if we keep saying it as well, we understand the propaganda, and because it's happened, it's not so that's a truth. But also there have been other places that have been poison as well. But if you look at the whole world, since the Industrial Revolution in the mid 1700s, the air, the water, and the earth has all been polluted, right? And even though we know that this crisis happened here, what I'm saying is we can't have the moniker and stick the moniker on us the way that they're doing. Because what we should be doing is getting together as a group, as a unit, as people, period, no matter where you're from, and saying, what are we going to do? How are we going to force you to do something about this? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that poisoning didn't take place. It happened in Louisiana, happened in Mississippi, in Jackson, Mississippi. It happened. It's happening. But if all the water supply is poison, then right, we have to talk about all of the water and all of the people are being affected by it. That's what I'm saying, right? So if you drink spring water and you drink it from Ice Mountain in particular, they get it from Everett, Michigan, and they pump it from a spring and then they ship it to Pennsylvania, rebottle it, and then send it back out and sell it to us on the shelves. But that's clean spring drinking water that you can go right there and drink it right from the well, right from the water source. You still have to clean it though, because it has to come through pipes and through the earth and everything else. And if the earth has been poisoned the way it has been during the Industrial Revolution and continue to be poisoned, that's all I'm saying.
Let me get my shit. Okay, Coretta Hodge been gifted a membership by Deborah Luna. Unapologetic. Good morning, Tasha Lynn. Good morning, Tony Terry coming in from Miami Dade. Good morning.
Okay.
Let me see.
Dade County.
No Games. Good morning. Cam 13. Good morning. Kenneth. Good morning. Let me make sure I got everybody. I ain't missed nobody. Good morning. We're gonna have a good, interesting morning. I mean, but you know what though, and I get it because what is it? Let me make sure we at. Well, today is the 4th, right?
Yes, sir.
Today the 4th. So they finna be having Mary Davis. Good morning. Good morning to everybody that done tapped in. Let me see. Because we coming up the 11th is gonna be what the 4th. It'll be what 11 years or 14. I mean, what was it?
It happened in 2014.
So we coming up on 11 years.
Coming up on 11 years, right?
11 years. So I know I'll probably be out there recording. Okay, April 25th will be 11 years in county. Noble,
okay.
Yeah, Noble Mac. Good morning. Thanks for tapping in, good brother. Coming in from Cincinnati. Cameron Hardy. Good morning. But see, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Oh, it's been 11 years. How many presidents have we done had? Barack.
Right.
We had Barack. Who else we done had?
Two.
Joe Biden and Trump. I mean, we had Barack, Trump, Joe Biden, and Trump again.
Right. So you had 2.5.
Yeah, so we done had 2.5 presidents.
Right. So.
Well, really, yeah, with 3. But I'm just saying that then did the water and where we at right now. We in Trump's second term, and this water situation is not still together here.
Right. So again, I was having a discussion with some of my fellow men brothers this morning. At what point in time are we going to say, as a group of people, that there are certain things that are wrong and we need to have them corrected? Right? If one thing is, let's take the city, and we know the dysfunction. I get it.
Right.
But if we force the city officials, those that are supposed to be leading and guiding us, to say, okay, we need you to put a petition together. And if we can get and this is dreaming, right?
Right.
If we can get every member of the city to sign it, men, women, and children, to sign it, take the executive order to state government, force the state government to take the executive order to the national government. That gets it put on a docket. That's something else. And if they don't do anything, then you take it to the United Nations, because this is a human rights issue, right? So that's a strategy. So all you city council people that's listening, anybody else that's listening, that's a strategy. That can be done by anybody, right? So they've already said that Snyder, when he was the governor, is dismissed of any type of lawsuit, they already exonerated him.
Right.
But then what can we do as people? If we're waiting for government to do anything, we're sadly mistaken. It's not going to happen. Government is not going to be interested in that because there's no money in it for them. And I'm going to say that could be wrong, but there's no money in it. There's no interest in it for them because people are there for their own interest instead of the interest of the people. Well, how do you take power back? You take power back by saying, Okay, we'll add 80,000 people will be at a council meeting, right? And or you go to your council person and to their office and you say, look, we demand this from you, but we have to be a unified front. We demand that you do this for us because we need it to happen. And if every person does that, every family, every individual, every man, woman, and child does that, then you force them to do something different. Because every time you turn around, I'm gonna be at your door. I'm gonna be in your office. I'm gonna be at your door. I'm gonna write you letters. I'm gonna do. So there's ways to get it done. But the issue is that we want to complain and not act.
I think 'cause I'm reading with some what JoJo them said. Like she said, they didn't went through these processes. She said go back to the beginning. I think really now because when you look at it, you're not getting no help. Because when a new governor came in, what Gretchen Whitmer do when she came
Nothing.
in?
She didn't do
Look how
anything either.
and look how Snyder got off.
Yeah, he
He
walked
got
away.
off.
Right.
You go look at how they had the attorney general, how they handled that whole case. I'm just saying,
Right.
this. So only thing I can think of. Now I ain't gonna say think of, but when you have these elected officials, you hope you can get these elected officials that'll do right.
You said a key word.
Yeah,
Hope.
by
But we're
you.
not forcing them to
Yeah.
say to, okay, again, we talked about this before on Black Watch, right? Where I'm not going. You got 30 days to show me that you have something to do. It's not. You're not going to get recalled. You're just not going to be in office no more. Period. Right? You got 30 days to show that you're going to. I'm gonna say this again. I live in 7th district, 7th ward, whatever.
Yeah, 7 for it.
Okay. I don't know who my person is. Seen them twice. Once at the store and once at the polls. That's it. And when I saw them at the store, I spoke, and they acted scared. Like, I got a black man talking to me. What's the problem? And you acted like they acted like she didn't even know who I was, nor took the time to even take a moment to speak. You weren't in a rush because you was walking slow. You in a rush, you're gonna move. So I don't know you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So can she be forced to listen to the other side of people that she didn't listen to? Because I'm telling you, she didn't. Because I didn't see her over there campaigning where I live at.
No, but see that was the point we was talking about yesterday when I had my on.
Yeah.
The former councilman of the second ward. Man, him was talking. That's what we was saying. I was like, because she didn't focus on over there the Evergreen Valley.
No, she
didn't
didn't.
focus on over there Stewart Hood. She didn't
Right.
focus on the state. She focused right there, which is sad for that area, which is the black side of the 7th ward. That it should be more getting out the vote, but she focused right there on the Mott College area
Right.
where the college at.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So where majority of the voters do come out.
Right.
See, you know what I'm saying? I watched her how she did with. I remember one time Ariel walked up to her. You can go back. I can't remember what month, but it was last year. I remember when Ariel came and she's like, "Get back, get away from me." I see how she treat, but that's why I be laughing like when you see how she is. Candace act like the councilwoman act like she more scared of her own people.
So if you're serving the interests of only a partial group of people that
Yeah.
you're supposed to represent, that's problematic.
Yeah.
So why is she still there?
Well,
And what are the procedures to remove her?
Well, this the thing. She got to be in that seat for a year. So basically, the way they set the rules up, her and Leon will not be able. They will not be able to be recalled until next year in 2060. See, they changed the rules up, but and this the thing. I'm looking at what Sir Gregory said, and it do make sense. He says if the government provided the money to fix the problem, and your local government misused the money, you are blaming the wrong people.
Okay, now if that's the case, right? Because if I'm recall correctly, there's supposed to be a $600 million lawsuit, and it's been reduced to like 53 million or whatever. And people got to do jumping jacks and all kind of other exercises in order to be able to get $5.15 from it.
Right.
Okay. So number one, did the money ever come? And if it did, then why weren't the residents notified? And if that's the case, then we also had a $2.5 billion group of people that came in and said that they would fix the problem, but they're still working on it to this day. But if the money comes in, the citizens should be notified. And if the citizens are notified, then you can force the council and the mayor and whoever to say, this is what the money's earmarked for. So now you're going to fix this problem. And if it's an infrastructural problem, then where do you go to fix it? Is it the water plant? Is it this? Is it the water sources? Whatever. We still get our water from Detroit. So then why aren't you putting certain things or even certain animals that can clean the water? Because there are animals that are available that can get in and clean the water itself.
I think with all the steps that they done made, that I do really feel like this should have been probably took. Like I said, I'm not no lawyer or nothing, but if you're not getting no help from the people who created the problem, I think this was a crisis that should have been took to the United Nations.
Okay.
To be honest with
Yeah.
you, I mean, cause you could afford something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way we 11 years later, water still messed up. Like I said, when you got people still coming down to the council.
Right.
Telling you when you turn the water on, it
You can
stinks.
still smell it. Yeah, you can still. I get it.
And it's sad that we at this stage, like we 11 years going, finna be 11 years. I mean, and a lot of the world thought. I mean, I'm talking about the United States. A lot of the other states thought the water was fixed.
Right, because you gave the impression or the illusion that you fixed something and you really didn't fix it. Because then everybody should be able to see that. Like
Yeah.
first and foremost, your residents, right?
Yeah.
If we fix the problem, then just like when we talk about the roads, and you got all of this money to fix the roads, but yet they're not all fixed. It's fixed in certain areas and certain parts
Right.
of places, but the roads are not all fixed.
But what I think what didn't happen, I think it was a lot of disinformation. The money came out. It was over $800 million came. I believe it was a lot of mismanagement. You know what I'm saying? You can damn near blame any administration that was in. Now, you only can give the fires the Weaver administration only so much because when they was starting to coming in, she wasn't in here that long. But she did have 95% of what she was trying to get done did get fixed. But when people don't understand when they saying 95%, that was 95% of a pie. I mean, of a bigger thing. It was like when they was fixing, it wasn't the whole pipe that was.
Right.
I mean, all the structure. It wasn't 95% of the infrastructure getting fixed. So what I'm listening hearing from different people, like we set up and talked to Wantez at council when he said about that Gleewood deal. He said, that came up under the Weaver administration that they voted for. He said he was one of the people who said, he didn't want to go for it because they knew it was going to raise the water.
Right.
But then we had Councilman Davis on here, and he was like, they was talking about sending them to jail if they didn't do this and that. Like he said, I just got on council. And, with Mays being the senior councilman, you know what I'm saying, they was telling them to do this. It just seemed like now it was so much, mismanagement because who would have knew the first time? Yeah, you right, Marcus Field. He said mismanagement, no, plighted and stealing. You right. If it wasn't so many people trying to get their hands on that money, I think, allegedly, let's just say allegedly they was stealing it. But I'm just going to say mismanagement. But if it wasn't so mismanagement done with that money, Flint would have probably actually seen the fixtures that needed to get did because they know they needed the whole infrastructure did as far as plumbing the pipes and everything.
So let me say this.
Go ahead.
Right? And we talk about this, and we've talked about this before.
Uh-huh.
If you got 800 million,
Right.
The companies that came in and said that they could fix the job charged $2.5 billion.
Right.
That was 11 years ago. But if you get $800 million and you take care of 90% of the situation and issue, and you slide $10 million in your coffers,
Right.
who really cares? That's the slush fund, right? Mm-hmm. And every company has them. Take a little petty cash, whatever they call it. But if you get 90%, 75% of the situations that blight and this and that all this other stuff that they're whining and complaining about now has been around for years because
Right.
you want to show people, a different view Because on one part of the city it looks this way, and on another part you want to see, oh, it looks like this because of where they live at. That too is propaganda. Pay attention, family, because it's in every city, right? Who would really care if a few dollars come up missing, as long as I'm satisfied with the structure that you put in place that corrected the situation that we had. But again, that comes from people knowing, and you can't go out to vote and only have 1,000 people vote for a particular person.
Right.
If you have 70 or 80,000 people in the city, 70 or 80,000 people got to come out and vote, because eventually what your vote says, and I'm not a huge proponent of voting, because at the end of the day, though, when, like you said, the rules were changed, so I got to be sitting in this seat for a year, so I'm really untouchable for at least a year before you say anything, which I think it shouldn't be that long. It should be minimally 90 days.
That's what I would go with.
Yeah, because if I'm sitting in there a year, I can just do whatever I want to, cater to who I want to, and then nobody can touch me, because then when you call me back, I'm ready to move on to something else anyway.
Right.
And really it should be 30 days, because that's what it used to be. But if you fix 75% of the stuff that you know that needs to be fixed when you come into office, and you're willing to be accountable for what it is that you say that you're going to fix and that you're going to deliver to people, people are all right with you dealing with taking that little extra money for the extra work you put in. That's everywhere.
Brianna Buster's being shocked with the $5 super chat. She says, subscribe, comment, share, $5 Friday. Thank you, Brianna Buster Benz, a shot. But let me be clear when I say when you do 95% right. But what if that 95% that you did was really only 5% of the whole problem?
But people then would still say you did something.
That's what I'm. But
you know what I'm saying.
But see. But that was the caveat. That's why I say you can't give her so much, because when she was able to do some work and she was really up out of there. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She was already gone. Okay, hold on. Let me see what Deborah Luna said. She said, my husband was paid prevailing wages by Lang to dig them holes. Was every contractor?
No, probably I doubt it, because I'm gonna tell you what. When they came and dug up my yard to find out what the pipes were, I told them what they were. I told them how far deep they had to dig. They messed my yard up. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, everybody wasn't, because there was one person that was standing out there holding a sign that said, stop, go, whatever. So they weren't making the same money as the person there that was doing with the digger. Right? So if a person, so he or she wasn't getting the same wage as the person who had to get down in the hole and dig the hole up. Man, I'm standing there watching them. And I told them, I said, first of all, this division is a fairly new division. This house was built in the 60s, 67, and the pipes are copper. So he didn't believe me. So they had to dig. Oh, it's part of our job. We got to dig it anyway. Not a problem. Okay. Wow. So I'm sitting there watching them dig the hole. Meanwhile, I'm watching another young brother and a young sister standing over here with a sign that say stop and go and stop and try. Now, when they did it, it was hot.
Right.
It was hot when they did it. Sorry about that, you all. And that person didn't get paid the same as the person jumping in the hole, getting the shovel. That person didn't get paid the same as using machinery in order to dig the hole in the first place.
My shit game.
And I haven't seen them since. I haven't seen no more digging.
So we can't say that some yards did get messed up. I did hear that.
You know, so they messed it up and they came back and they put some seed down that was trash, messed my yard up. And then when I let it grow, I had somebody come from the city talking about they was going to tag my yard and find me. And I told them, I said, well, you better go find the people that dug the hole and put this crappy grass down, because if you find me, I'll sue you.
Wow.
See, this is the type of stupidity that we have to deal with because you want to make sure that the yards look this way, that way, the other way. And my yard, I pride myself in taking care of it as best I can when I force myself to make time. It's not as immaculate as it should be, but but it wasn't raggedy and it wasn't messed up. And then they come and dug this hole and put this crap down, this trash, and then you want to say, I got to cut it at a certain time and it's too high in one spot, but you could clearly see that the rest of the yard is cut and edged and all this other stuff. And you want to make this big issue about a patch of grass that y'all messed up. That wasn't messed up because I already told you what the pipes were. But you
Right.
got to dig it anyway. And I'm quite sure that with the machinery, they got paid very well to do that.
Right.
Whereas the person holding the sign, you didn't get with the same thing that they got. Because if that's the case, I'll stand out there and hold the sign. You know?
Taz Montana from the 313 with the 499. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
No,
put
I
that other
mean,
penny on there.
it's what they say. The clean fell on 12th Street maintenance, and in other words, the taxpayers.
There you go.
Sweep cupcake on break. Thanks for tapping in. But that's what I'm saying. It was like, and I gotta give Dr. Weaver her credit on this. She was getting attacked every which way. She was she was getting sent to court. She was catching hell.
Right.
But it seemed like this mayor, she left him with 95%. But when it came out, that 95% that was being done was only 5% of what needed to be done. You know what I'm saying? It was 5%. That's why I like with Mayor Neely, you was in there for 2 terms, and you mean to still tell me that then the state had to come in and say they was gonna take over this, and even what it was saying, just fixing that one part, the whole infrastructure did. But like you say, when the money, it was like over 800 million came in. They was accusing that Weaver. Remember when she was getting cold?
Right.
Said she stole money. Then when anytime you want to get itemized where the money came from, good morning, Miss D. Yeah, and y'all family hit that like button as you come in and smash it, as Miss D would say. When they coming in, when it was, they was like Lansing got some money. What was it? Was it the Red Cross of Lansing?
Right. Yeah.
What they get some money for if the crisis happened here? Like, why was the money going here? Then they had certain stuff was blacked out on the pay. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you couldn't see where the money, and it was like, wow. But y'all accused that lady of stealing, and then we don't hear nothing about 94.7 million came in and didn't touch the residents or nothing. But yet, this mayor don't be having to go to. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't up under much scrutiny as she was up under the microscope.
Well, and then because he's the president of the council as well, then what do you do? So what's the point of the council? And at the end of the day, if the people aren't forcing putting pressure on a council
Right.
to do the right thing, the council can't put pressure on the president to do the right thing either. Right? Because
Right.
if you give me a year before I have to deal with you, before I have to talk about recall, before I do whatever, then I'm basically chilling. You can't do anything to me. You can come in and bust. You can do a letter writing camp. You can do all this stuff. I can ignore all of that until next November.
I'm gonna check it out, little mama. I don't know what's going on with it right now. Ain't nothing showing up. I agree with you, brother Elliot. That's why I'm with Maria on this. She said that's why we needed to be audited. We don't know where that money went.
But what's the audit gonna do? Now it'll show you where other monies went, and it might lay blame. But if you still have to wait to remove people from that position, then what?
Nah, I think if you do a forensic audit and you saw that money was mismanaged, people should go to jail. Then
That's exactly what should happen.
that it shouldn't be. But I don't know how these rules is. Like I said, I'm not a teacher. I wasn't the greatest in math, but I know 2 + 2 is 5. My bad. 2 + 2 is 4.
That's okay. We'll take the 5.
But what I was,
Subtract
but
one and we straight.
but this what I seen when council only had when it was 8 up there. I seen them. I never heard that you round up, you round down.
No.
The councilwoman in the second ward said when you needed the majority vote of 8 would be 6. She said, "No, we round down to 5. You round down." I thought anything over 5, you round up. Anything below 5, you round down. Now, this was the learning I got from the Flint school system. This what I was taught. 5 or more, you round up. I could be wrong.
That's exactly how it's supposed to go. Because I kind of sort of teach math a little bit.
But but see, this what we found out at city council. And and this was out the councilwoman of the second ward. And allegedly she got a doctorate degree. I don't know what in, but it can't be math because she said you round down. And they passed stuff. I mean, they literally passed stuff with the majority rule 5 and needed 6 votes.
But okay, so now, so if the rule is, or if they say the rule is majority rule 5, then you got 5-3. I can find that acceptable. But if the rule is 6 and more, you don't change it. If the rule is 6 and more, then you can't change. How can you arbitrarily change that instead of say we're going to do it this way because we 5 people here, 8 people, and really, if you get 5, you should be good. But if the rule is 6,
the rule was 6.
You have to follow the rule of 6.
It said 2/3 of majority vote of 9 is 6.
Right.
And she said you have to round down
because if they only had 8.
But it's 9 seats, but you don't round down. They needed to pass what they needed to pass, so they went with that. They was in the majority though. They had the 5 votes.
Right.
But that ain't how it go though.
Okay, so how is this to be fixed? How do we fix this?
I don't know how you fix it, to be honest with you. T, I graduated from Flint Northern. Terrible. What you just said. And you my fellow 740. How do you fix it? I don't know how you fix it when the system is letting it be ran like this.
Okay, so then there's the obvious problem is the system is
Yeah, the system.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the system.
So if the system is out of order, and then we have people that are in those positions that are out of order because the system's out of order, the system has to be destroyed and rebuilt. Now the question is, how do you do that?
I mean, listen, when we had Jordan Sheraton on here from Status Coup, when he wrote that book, We the Poison, when he said when you have your politicians, your activists, he said when you go up in there, they sit up in there with billionaires.
Right.
He said they go in there with like we fighting for the people. Then they come out with new cars. They come out with a new house.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, and I understood that when they can be bought and paid for, because that's really what we run. Them the problems that we're running into.
Now we talking.
Yeah, we running into our people that we put up there. We think will fight for us is easy to be bought off. It's like they seem like they be want to cause ruckus because they know they can get paid off.
Well, so then in the 70s and late 60s and 70s, there was this idea that came up called political action committees.
Mm-hmm.
And political action committees are those groups of people who pool their money, basically buy politicians to vote for their needs, right?
Right.
So if we own cattle, let's say we got a ranch, both of us got a ranch.
Right.
And we're part of the Cattlemen's Association, and we want to drive beef prices up. So instead of sending beef to market to be slaughtered and sold, we just withhold the beef, right? We withhold the beef, that drives the market up. But what we do is we tell the person that comes from Texas or Mississippi, wherever we are, even if they from here, if we got enough heads of cattle to influence the price,
right,
we can go to you and go to this council person and say, or go to the senator or whatever and say, look, this is the deal. We need you to vote for an increase. But what we're going to do is we're going to put money in your coffers so when you run the next time, and that's all this is.
Right. Pay to play.
You pay to play. And so that's across the board, right?
Right.
So if I'm a politician and I'm claiming, or I want to be a politician, and I claim that I don't want to play this game, well, guess what? I'm never going to be elected.
Right.
Because even if I go talk to the people, and the people, oh yeah, man, he's going to do such and such for us, and he means it, and he promises he does well, and he means all that other stuff. But then when big business sees, let's say I'll use Meyer, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm going to just say that. I'm going to just use no disrespect to people that go to Meyer. I go there.
Me too.
See, But if we could use Meyer and Meyer say, "Oh man, you get a lot of people rallied up to listen to you,
Right.
listen to you,"
Right.
and well, this is what we need from you. And eventually, if I listen to them long enough and they speak the right numbers, guess what?
Right.
Myers in my political,
Right.
I'm in Myers' political bed.
Right. That's like I hate to bring it up, but I got to speak truth to power. That's like how Ashley Capital came up here. You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
had certain people got gifts and, allegedly, you know what I'm saying? But that's business. That's politics in America.
But if you take the gift,
Right.
then you're owned by the giver. And that's part of the problem.
Right.
So therefore, I'm not even sure who Ashley Capital is. I'm gonna let you fill me in on that because that's your deal. That's your stuff. But now you're going to vote and speak on the interests of Ashley Capital.
Right.
You have to.
You see-
Because if you don't, then what happens is they expose you as a fraud and you
Right.
lose your position.
No, you know where they're at, right?
Yeah.
Right across the street.
Okay,
Ashley
that
Capital
other
built
building.
all that. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
When
The
you see
building
all
that
that,
went up in 15 minutes?
yeah, all that stuff.
I
You see-
ain't going in that piece.
Yeah, and how they got a tax. I mean, man, they got a sweet deal. They even, I can't even think of that park what was that park over there, family? I can't think of the name of it. Even they group got a non-profit set up for them, and Ashley Capital gonna get them money to throw they picnic every year. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Pastor Nicholas Jagatis? They saying you want it, brother. But I'm just saying, but this is the stuff that people, you know what I'm saying? They like it's like Oak Park. Oak Park just did because Ashley Capital they bought that and they throw a nanograph up over there, whatever.
Right.
I might not be all the way right, but Ashley Capital came in for the councilwoman of the second ward through a Halloween party, got $1,500 for the kids and stuff.
See?
You know, like when you get in certain things, they help the Oak Park, got them a nonprofit where they gonna get them $2,000 for when they throw their picnic over there, and they get a little party slab or a little pavilion put up where they gonna say,
So people are using their economics, right, and their money,
yes,
not for
Nicholas.
the right thing,
Right.
but for the thing that they can gain a hold and gain an edge in whatever business that they have. And now you owe me.
Right.
Because
Right.
if you don't owe me, then I can turn around and say, well, they took money and I can destroy your career. And this is the game that people play, not understanding the repercussions of sleeping with the wrong bedfellow.
Right, but you see a lot of that. That's why I be sitting up here when you see it. You know, but that's politics. I was
That's only politics of late.
Yeah, no,
Not
but you know what? I was watching Dennis Kucinich. He was just on. I was watching the Jimmy Dore show,
Okay.
and he was talking about like why he was a Democrat. He said how it is, how they didn't really took over. He said when you come in, they give you a playbook and tell you who to vote for. These are things that we want did. You know what I'm saying? This the agenda for the Democratic Party. It's like, wow.
Right.
Juju Lamar, good morning. Woody Wood, good morning. Everybody, Tay, good morning.
My apologies. I didn't mean to say.
No, go ahead.
So then, if that's the playbook,
Right.
at what point in time do the players, who are the lesser players, not the big players, right? The big players is the people that come in and build your parks and give you money and make donations to you. Then at what point in time do you go like, okay, look, I've got to do something for the people that I represent.
Right.
And because we don't hold them accountable, that's the issue. We don't hold them accountable. Okay, you get your little, I got a new car from such and such, and it's got Ashley Capital bumper sticker on or whatever. That's fine, but I'm gonna still do something for people over here. What happens is people are no longer, those representatives, supposed representatives, are no longer accountable to the people, right? So then I'm just over here accountable to the business. They're giving me perks. I'm on vacation. I'm doing this. They let me do this. I'm getting extra money over here. I'm all this other stuff.
Right.
So then the people go like, hey, you supposed to represent us.
Right.
So this is how politics have changed with the advent of political action committees. They probably started before then. Right, before the 60s. But they became very prevalent in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
And one of them started in Texas with the oil people and the beef people.
Right. Yeah, remember they down there stopped Oprah Winfrey.
Man,
When
right,
she went at them.
right.
See, when you got these type of lobbyists and stuff, it can go left.
Yeah, man, then it will
It
go
can
left.
it can
They'll
go
destroy
left.
your life if they get an
So,
opportunity to.
so well, you can't go playing with these industry, and that's what I think. And I think when you be having people who be having being don't nobody want to be poor. Let me just throw that out there. Don't nobody want to be poor. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But when you easily can be bought off, then that's when you don't have no morals. You know what I'm saying? When a few dollars, you know what I'm saying? And I think what we got caught up, I think as a society, we got jammed up like money can solve everything. No, money can get you things that you want. It can't buy you happiness.
Listen, there's this brother that I follow, and he's a Muslim, right? And I follow him on social media. And he said the issue that people have is everybody wants to live a decadent lifestyle as long as they're able to get away with the decadent stuff they don't want to do. If you got money, you can live this lifestyle,
Right.
right? You got money, you can live this lifestyle. You
Right.
got money, you can live this lifestyle. You can live like these people. And secretly, what people want to do is be amoral. They
Right.
want to be immoral. They
Right.
want to live this. They want to do this other stuff.
Right.
They want to do all of this other stuff and not be held accountable
Right.
for what it is they should be accountable for. If I'm living on the boat, and that's the reason why, if you look at the propaganda, right, and this
okay.
is just we circling back, right? If you look at the propaganda, like they got you see videos with cats driving these cars and this and that and other, and not understanding how they have to sacrifice stuff in order to be able to show these videos, but they don't live that life,
Right.
right? But to people who don't know that that is a fake life,
Right.
you get them caught up in believing it. But what these political action committees do is they afford you the opportunity to
Right.
live that type of. You go out of town, as long as nobody know me, I can cover up and pull my hat down
Right.
and whatever, so people can't see me, and then I can go be decadent somewhere,
Right.
and then turn around and come back because they afforded me the lifestyle to be able to do it. But now they got film and pictures and all this other
Right.
stuff on you. So
Right.
then, if you really not doing what we want you to do,
Right.
well, we gonna put you out there like that.
Did they forget about what was my man that was the mayor, the brother that was the mayor of Miami? Remember he was
yeah.
on CNN and
Yeah.
he got caught. He was in a hotel partying. Now you found out he was, you know what I'm saying, married, but he was living a down low lifestyle. Where has he
Yeah.
been since?
No,
Who
they-
did he
they
cross?
out of there.
Yeah, who did he cross?
Yeah. Well, because, okay, whistleblowers.
Yeah, who did you cross? I mean, just think about it. Who do they be crossing that they or what have you done? What aspirations that you want? The same thing with Puffy. But see how they do the propaganda, and let me say this. It's never right when a man put his hand on a woman or a woman put her
Right,
hand on a
anything,
man.
right, any of
It's
that. All that's
never
wrong.
right. But see, they didn't tell the full story of that, even though what he got caught doing, but she was trying to run out with a bag of money of his. And I ain't saying that it's right, but you see how they tried to make Puffy like he was the poster child for this type of being treatment.
Well, not only that, but they wanted to make sure that it was very clear that it was
Yeah.
racially
Yeah,
charged as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
And not
yeah.
that other people have not done the same
Right.
thing that don't look like him.
Right. But
They
they
done
never,
worse.
Right. Because that Harvey Weinstein swept up under the rug.
Yeah, he just in prison, but still.
Right. But it was never a 24/7
No.
campaign on him.
Right. But back to, in order to put him in that position,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
In order for him to be put in that position, he represented an industry,
Right.
not just music,
Right.
but alcohol.
Right.
And then when he no longer wanted to subscribe to what they desired,
Right.
then all of a sudden all of this other stuff comes out.
Because he thought he could be independent.
Right.
When he went out there and found out that it was not putting a guave plant to make the tequila, they wouldn't put in his, like how they said.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then he went to calling them out. But see, this is my thing with us as a people. We be knowing these people be dirty, but we'll still get in the bed.
still
What up,
wanna
Rodney
get in the
Thomas?
bed with
Good
'em.
morning, good brother. Eddie Jones, good morning. But we will still get in the bed and thinking, okay, we gonna be able to change these people's mind. No, you're not. If he a devil, he gonna be a devil. You know what I'm saying?
So then when you get in the bed and you have these negotiations and discussions, understanding that they want part of who you are.
Right.
So as a political leader
Right.
or whomever this thing is or whatever this is you aspire to be,
Right.
you got to understand that. So if I know that Meyer sends me a set of coupons, I can come buy everything in the store, get it for free.
Right.
I know they want something.
Right.
So I should know that.
Right.
So then I have a choice.
Right.
I can reject it, but know that this potential backer is going to now go against my campaign, right? Or I can accept it, but I'm also got to know that what's going to happen is they're going to always try and maneuver and manipulate what I'm doing in order to get their best advantage.
Right.
So if I want everybody in the ward that I represent to go to Meyer and spend their money there, is that worth me taking whatever it is that they're giving me so that I can continue to run my campaign and win? Or do I rely on people who, and the issue is we're not astute, right?
Yeah,
We don't study.
Mm-hmm.
And if we study, then we understand, hey, this is how this operates. How can we all benefit? Now, my position would be, okay, since you want me to come over there and you want to run this is what I need for I want everybody that lives there and where I represent to be able to come over to the store and they get the same coupons I got.
Right.
At least once a week.
Right.
Now, that was the playing field. Even though I know I'm in their pocket, at least my constituents know, hey, man, we got a bunch of coupons for free over here. Hey, just go use them. Don't say nothing. Just go whatever. Oh, well, shoot, we at the store. Now, I still got to play by their rules, but at least I got a benefit for the people I represent.
But that goes back to, like you say, who are your representation?
Yeah.
Do they have your best interest? And I agree with you, Woodrow, because Woodrow said Puffy can't have that kind of ownership with federal charges. He was set up, but his lifestyle gave them opportunity to. Facts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Facts.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Yeah, because he was, I'm this person and I'm doing this, and he tripped his own self up because he wasn't understanding how to play the game.
Yeah. And I agree with what Mark's saying. I think that if you are a minority, Mark Hutchinson, he said, I think if you are a minority, you get money, you must stay low. No flexing, there's always a target on you.
Absolutely. Yeah, just because you're born, you're a target.
Yeah. See, and I agree with Mark Hutchinson on this. He says Puffy, Michael Jackson, Prince, Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson, Red Fox. The list goes on and on. It's not a coincidence.
No, absolutely.
And I do agree with that because I was looking at some stuff that, like, they was talking about Sam Cooke. They got, Sam Cooke was talking about independence back then.
Independent back then, yep.
But what a lot of people don't understand, have a lot of people with money that when they start saying this a money maker, they get in.
Right, absolutely.
Go back to the Negro League. Why was the Negro League disbanded?
Yeah, because they were performed way better than the white league, and they were more entertaining, and they wasn't gonna have a group of people that we formerly own that y'all out here doing the same thing we doing, and so we got to find a way to destroy that, and that's what they did. First of all, they drafted people, and second, they used the money and power in order to destroy the Negro League.
Right. Hit that like button, people. There's 100 of y'all in here, only 29. Come on, smash that like button. And I know council people, if you're watching, hit that like button. We ain't lying on you.
We just
telling the truth.
How it should operate.
Yeah.
Because I really don't care if you put an extra $5,000 in your pocket, as long as my area where I live at is taken care of.
Right.
Right. I don't care nothing about that. That's your extra hard work. I don't care. That's working a little overtime. Doesn't matter.
Right.
We straight. If I don't see you and you get $5,000, then that's a problem for me.
Right. Right.
If I don't see nothing that you've done, I don't see you at all. You look like you scared of me when you see me or whatever that was. I don't know. It was weird to me. But if I see that, then you're really not working in the best interest of the people over here where I'm at.
But that's crazy. And I was just looking with a shooting the shit T said. She said she live on that side. But yet you scared of your people on that side of the 7th Ward. But yet you can go over there on the other part of the 7th Ward by the college, and you smile, grin with them, and you
Well,
don't
we
feel
already
them.
know how that go then.
Yeah,
You already know how that
yeah,
goes. So if that's how you operate, then you're operating on the best interest of you for them, not
right,
for us.
right. And that need to be told. Because I look at a lot of them. Look, man, I seen, and it's crazy. And it's crazy because I did ask. I was like, why the mayor don't ever be on come to the meetings where the blacks is at, would be majority black. I'm like, I get it.
And he's the president.
Yeah, but he don't want to come. But see, he try to go to where he can control, and it really do show me how really crazy was going on. How you can see the people. I ain't just talking about whites. I'm talking about blacks that prop him up and act like how they see in the city being ran. He doing a good job. Unbelievable.
Right,
Unbelievable.
right. Can I take a moment
Go
though, real
ahead.
quick?
Go ahead.
So, family, we just lost one of the giants in our community, uh, Representative Floyd Clack. He passed away sometime this week, and we just want to give a shout to his family and prayers to his family. Michael, who's been trying to work at filling some giant shoes, continue your work, and our prayers and condolences to the loss of a man who was one of my teachers. Um, he would always fuss at me about being politically astute, and I would, and up until now, I've been avoiding that. But not that I don't vote or whatever, and that's a whole nother issue. But we just want to give prayers and condolences and praises to the work that he did, and prayers and condolences to his family.
Yeah.
So thank you all, and you know. But anyway,
Yeah. Condolences to the clap.
yeah. But yeah, man, that's because if you feel safer or you feel that they're hearing you more, then that means you're not educating everybody around you.
Right.
Because if I educate everybody, then I'm educating everybody. I don't want to say I'm just going to do one thing for this group over here, and then I'm really not going to do anything for you over there because y'all act like y'all don't vote. That might be true, but then educate people, be available to teach people the reason why they need your support.
Facts.
That means if I have to go over to the school over here, or if I have to go to a community center over here, I'm having a community forum, and I want y'all to show up. It's like y'all had the quorum at the quorum or whatever.
Yeah, forum at the quorum.
Right.
Yeah.
Forum at the quorum, right.
Right.
But I just didn't know what day and
Right,
time
right,
it was.
right.
So that was on me.
Right.
But y'all had something that allowed people to have and talk and vent or whatever, and people listen.
Right.
Why would you not have that? And I'm speaking personally because, and I'm going to go back to a person that if anybody remembers, if you lived over here any length of time, his name was Jack Miner. I knew it wasn't Mr. Miner, it was Jack. And even though I was young, he was like, no, call me Jack, I work for y'all. He lived over there, and when we had stuff going, hey, I make a phone call. Hey, we need such and such happen over here on Lynn. We need such and such happen on Dexter. I remember we had a real bad storm, like worse than the one we just had on this week. And there's a couple of trees that got knocked down. Block streets and stuff. He come out with his chainsaw like everybody else. Help cut the street. Blizzard. Here he is out here with a snow thrower in his truck. That's a council person that works for the people.
Right. But see, this go back to what Mark Hutchinson, I had it on the screen. Coleman Young, Marion Berry, Sharp, James, Maynard, Jackson, all took little for themselves, but they took care of their people.
They took care of their people.
Neely takes all the money. And he said, and money, and his people suffer tragic. That's what is crazy is.
So then it's incumbent on the people to know these things, right?
Right.
And if they know that, then they can do something about it. But that means, again, being proactive in teaching people what they need. Hey, what do you need over here? And that may also mean that the council people, you bypass them and you set up another set of propaganda.
Facts.
Somehow that teaches people the needs that they should have. Right?
Yeah.
If most people go to the store, and most of the stores that they go to are gas stations and little corner stores to get their food stuff.
Crazy.
That needs to be corrected.
But but ain't nobody understanding that. I hear everybody say a food desert.
Yeah.
Really, and let's be honest. Is it really, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I get it. You don't have no grocery store. But something like Maurice said yesterday did make sense. You had right there on Pearson Road, you didn't have the Kessels, you didn't have the Kroger.
And
How
you had a
many
Meijer.
how many grocery stores have you had right there in that plaza? That growth is not gonna sustain right there. So how do they think, how did Reverend Flynn, Dr. Flynn, Reggie Flynn, how did he think that grocery store was gonna make it right there like we don't see the game that's being played?
Okay. Because there's a whole other thing that goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know all the details, so I'm not going to speak on it. But if, and I understand what he was trying to do, put some in an area that had nothing. But you also have to make sure that things are in order so that people see the order of it and go like, okay, I want to be able to be over here. But that's also where you have to have people around that are going to raise the awareness of people that you want to have going to your store.
But I'm, you know what I'm saying? I just look at the numbers of it. You had a Kroger and a Kessels over there.
Kroger, Kessel, and Meijer.
And a Meijer. And the people over there didn't even keep it open.
Well, because they didn't feel, and it wasn't like people weren't in there buying stuff.
Yeah, but it was, I guess I'm looking at it wasn't sustainable.
It could have been sustainable, and it had nothing to do with theft. It had nothing to do with all of the other stuff that people claim it was. I think that what happened with those stores is people just, the head of those stores got the money that they needed from it and then rolled out.
Because I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, but you open the event center up before you open the store.
Right.
I'm just looking at the comments, like how you doing things. To me, it's like you see the games being played.
Yeah, well, they say we like to be entertained instead of live. We love
fine.
that stuff.
Yeah,
we want to be entertained and laugh and joke instead of living for real.
Facts. Because it don't make sense to me. Like a lot of the stuff I look at it on Mimi Connor, good morning to you. A lot of the stuff I look at and I be trying to, because I sometimes try to take, try to look at angles from both sides of it. Even from, you know what I'm saying, even when we battling with people, I try to, with like what they voting. Like I said, I just keep it to the voting. The personal stuff I don't care about.
Right.
But you're voting. If the people not getting no help, I seen too many mothers come down there crying, saying give us this, we need home improvement. Can't get the home improvement. Because when you do get it, like Maurice said, all the stuff, all the red tape they're gonna send you through, most people are not gonna qualify for it.
We don't even want to talk about red tape.
Right. So you're not even gonna qualify for it.
Okay. So then now let me pose something else.
Okay.
So if we know that, and council people know that, at what point in time, and see, this is the sense that we've lost. At what point in time does a community say, you know what, we're going to give me $20, you give me $20, 10, 20, 30 people give $20, that's $6,000, and then we go over there and buy the material and say, hey, we're going to fix your house up. And then we go to the next one. And then we keep on doing it. Because church folk, y'all can do the same thing. Don't get it twisted. Because it ain't like you ain't got enough money to do the same thing. Since you're supposed to be part of the community, right?
Right.
If that's going to be the hub of things,
right,
then be the hub for real. If that's what role you think you're supposed to play. But at what point in time do we do that ourselves? Not that people in the council don't have the access to the money.
Right.
Because they do. That's part of their job. Remember, we talked about that before.
Right.
If you got a piece of pie, you got 9 wards, and you cut it in 9 different parts. Some parts may be a little bit bigger than others. Same way when you get a pizza. Some parts may be a little bit bigger than others, but it doesn't mean that you don't give what you need. And it's okay if you take a little $300 or $400 or $500 off the top.
Yes, sir.
But make sure that we get taken care of over here.
Yes,
and that's
sir.
not happening. And that's the issue. People are crying for help. You're supposed to be the doctor, but you're only bringing Band-Aids. If you're going to be the doctor, then be the doctor. That means you come out there in the community, put your lab coat on, bring your bag and your stethoscope, and you drive in and say, what do you need? Because who would care if you take $5,000 out of the coffer if you use $60,000 to help fix the neighborhood and houses and clean up and Miss Ann got her house together and got
Right.
a roof on her house,
Right.
and she ain't got to worry about nothing, or she got tax issues or whatever other stuff going on, and you helping her out. What do you think we care about you taking a few dollars and putting in your pocket for the work that you really put in?
And listen, and I agree with you what you just said. In Detroit, boy, I didn't want to mess with it, but we're gonna have to talk on it because I got the perfect brother here with me that can talk on it. He said churches around Flint is in it for themselves. Not all, but majority.
Churches around the world, $420 billion dollars they put up last year in the banks. Where you
Right.
see that at in your community?
Crazy.
Goes all of them.
Yeah.
$420 billion dollars. Not million, billion that they put in banks.
See,
They got ATMs. Excuse me, big brother.
Go ahead.
Some of them have ATMs in the church
Facts.
where you can get your money out. This stupidity that Marvin Sapp did the other day, and you still mean to tell me that people go to the bro? See, you wrong for setting me
No,
up. You
Detroit
wrong for
boy.
setting me up.
Listen, I tried to skip it because I saw somebody put in there earlier and talk about the churches. I let it go because a lot of people from church watches.
I want you to watch. If you got a pastor that sit around there and tell you we're gonna lock the doors, you are a fool for going there because he is not talking about God. He's not talking about the God in you. You got to understand that.
Yeah,
you are not talking about the God in you. See, I told y'all, y'all got it for Good Friday morning. We get ready to get it in. They're not talking about you. Anybody that is that foolish to sit around and tell you you have to empty your pockets, but then turn around and tell you when you have a problem, pray about it, but you taking care of them, you wrong. You got the wrong shepherd. They leading you down the wrong path.
Listen,
you got the wrong shepherd. So you ain't gonna tell me I'm giving up nothing.
Listen, brother, I was watching because I watched him go on Ricky Smiley. I watched the little Ricky Smiley thing. Christy Coleman, good morning. I watched the Ricky Smiley. No, I watched the Ricky. Cool. I watched the Ricky Smiley because I didn't. You know, he was from Grand Rapids. He's like he left the Grand Rapids church with a surplus and all this, and he was like it wasn't his church. He was saying, but what I'm trying to tell the people, what I was trying to get them, a lot of these when they come, because I look at that as the new hustle, because ain't nowhere in the world that you can sit up here and tell me, Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, Al Sharpton, like right now, they pushing Reverend Jesse Jackson around like Jesse really know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And he in the wheelchair at 80-something years old.
They still pushing Jesse to get what? Money.
Right.
And if you go study Jesus, Jesus was not in the church.
Nope.
He was out in the streets with his people.
Right.
What government was he battling with? Against the Roman government, the ones that was in power.
Yep.
If you go look at it, Jesus, if you watch what he did, he was looking more like a revolutionary.
He was.
Like he was for the people, not like how this educating the people, not this stuff going on. Let me go do this and I can be bought off.
Right.
Jesus couldn't be bought off.
Right.
Most of these people we got representing us can be bought and paid for in a drop of a dime.
And see, that's the issue. Is we easily, like what
Good
the
morning,
Muslim
Sister
brother
Taliba.
said, oh, that's my girl. I don't even want to talk to you. I love you, but I won't see you no more on Sundays.
She coming. Okay, we got something in the works.
Okay,
she coming.
All right, that's my baby. Because her husband's my big brother, my big little brother.
For sure.
So that's my baby.
Oh, she coming. She coming.
All right, but why do we continue to support it? We continue to support foolishness because that's what we've been reduced. The propaganda has said that's what we've been reduced to seeing and doing. So therefore, he was comfortable in saying something like that. Right. And then he's got to go on shows where millions of people watch.
Right.
So he can, either claim that it was taken out of context. Right. Oh, bro, you said exactly what you said. And we need to wake up to the fact that that is a foolish notion. And he is not a leader.
Right.
Because if you want to be a leader, look in the mirror. and there's only one person you should see. That's the leader.
Right.
Most of y'all don't even read the book in the first place.
No, I don't think they read it and
No,
really
because
understand it.
those are the people, and I saw this yesterday, that you read one book and know everything about that book, but don't read another book. When you and you don't know nothing about that book.
Right.
You only know what you've been told, not what you read.
I keep telling them when you got to go to their school and they telling you what to do. You show me in the book where you sat up there and heard Jesus, Moses, any of the prophets of the old went to the people they was battling with school. Just, I mean, I'm waiting. I'll wait.
Well, you know what they said. If people go read about Moses, they said that he was a priest in the temple of On, knowledgeable in all the wisdom of ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm done. Enough said.
But then he go to the people that was oppressing him.
But he wasn't being oppressed.
That's what
his brother. His brother was Ramesses II.
But that's what I'm saying. Even the stories that we get be fabricated. But we have.
Well, there you go.
See, but we have to go for it.
Right, but
we have to go for it when they break it down. That's what I'm saying. A lot of the stuff that you seeing, they act like when I say when, I'm just saying. I know when we get on the church, it's go mess with a lot of people. But we talking about, and we had these problems all over. Don't get it twisted. You had these problems all over. But it's just that you would think. You said they did go to school, but I said to the people that's oppressing him, no name. Did he learn from the people that was oppressing him?
What school did they go to?
He said Jesus went to the school, went to religious scholars of the day from the age of 12 to 30.
No, because he wasn't even exist from that age. At that whole age from 13 to 30, he disappeared. Now, you can make an assumption that that's what happened, but unless you got it in writing, don't want to hear it. Oh, I'm sorry, that's me. My fault. I don't want to offend you, brother, but I'm just saying.
That's good brother, no now. He good people, good people.
Don't be offended, because I have to go by facts. I don't go by all of that other stuff.
I mean, no, because you have to read. It's so many that was left out. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you're looking at the knowledge of the world, you know what I'm saying? And then when you do study the Bible, that's only 6,000 years of history.
That ain't even 6,000 years of history. They want to give it that much, because if that's the case, then Egypt is way much older than that.
It tells you that. But if you go look at it, what they're gonna tell you, BC or AD, they're gonna tell you before Christ or after death. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it goes before that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, and ancient Egypt is way older than that, because it's called Kemet before Greeks came in and named it Egypt because they didn't know what to call it.
Right.
Anyway, before we get all into
that. Yeah. Like, it ain't, but I'm just saying, but when you do see it, like, I just look at it, a lot of the preaching that's going on here, it's in the world. I'm just not going to say here in the world. To me, it's like it's been hijacked by thugs, because them the ones you seeing getting really highlighted.
Yeah, well, because it's also,
you know what I'm saying?
They make the most money in this tax-free.
Yeah, you got Benny Hinn. You know what I'm saying? I remember Jimmy Swaggart. I still remember to this day like it was yesterday when he got caught in Hooker Alley.
Right.
But see, that's the game that they play. And when you acting like you holier than thou, you know what I'm saying? You can't commit a sin. You ain't did this. You don't have temptation. See, when people be lying like they don't have temptations, listen, man, every day you live is a struggle to do right. A struggle to do right.
Yeah.
It's easily to be led astray. It's harder to be led on the straight path. Yeah.
But you have to make a choice.
Right.
You have to choose. Right?
Yeah.
And just like this stuff that we've been talking about earlier.
Right.
Is about a choice.
Right.
If I choose the political action committee as compared to choosing my people.
Right.
And then I know the political action committee may come out and say some stuff that I have to, if I'm righteous, I can defend myself.
Right. But you know what, people get caught up. I'm gonna tell you something, man. What's the first thing a person do when they go get money?
Buy stuff.
Right, a car. They got to show you I'm riding in this car. Money gonna show itself. Right. You don't have to do nothing. When people be like, you don't have to do. You can sit back and watch people to show you themselves who they are.
Yep.
First thing, they got to buy new threads because they've been feeling like they get caught up in. That's why you can see a person like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. you know what I'm saying, that'll might have on $12 jeans, $40 shoes. He might have on all together maybe $100 if that. But if it's me and you, I'm just saying us, we'll have on there $3,000 worth of clothes and don't even
Man,
have $1 million in the bank.
I learned a lesson from a man while I was dropping stuff off at the Goodwill.
Right.
And, he opened the door and I spoke and he spoke. And then we went inside. We was having a conversation in the doorway.
Right.
I went inside and he told me a story. So I'm a lawyer. I used to have $1,000 suits, and $300 shoes, and $100 ties, and $250 shirts.
Right.
I had a closet full of stuff. Then I
Right.
had a house fire, and I lost everything in this house fire.
Mm.
Clothes gone, house got a. I'm living in my family and I are living in a hotel right now. And
Right.
we got to get the house. He said, "Man, let me tell you what to do." He said, "You go and you find you a suit at the Salvation Army or the Goodwill. The heck with all of that, buying it, spending that money, because I saw it all go up in flames." And he was a big fella.
Mm.
So you take it to the cleaners, get it cleaned and pressed, and nobody will know. And so you still look good. He said, "You're a good, you're a nice looking young fella, whatever." So I'm a handsome man too, you know. He said, "But I'm not ever spending that type of money." And I had well over $100,000 in my wardrobe,
Mm.
and it's gone. He said that was the most food. Now that I'm rebuilding, I'm building smarter and not harder.
Right.
That was one of the best pieces of advice I got from somebody.
Right.
Because what people want to do is they want to. I got a show, right? But that's
Mhm.
that's the lower level thinking that we talked about before in Black Watch, where instead
Right.
of me being on a higher level of thinking, right, I'll be on a lower level of thinking because I like things, I
Right.
like shiny things,
Right.
and then our people are impressed by
Mhm.
shiny stuff.
Mhm.
Not impressed by your intellect, not impressed by what you can do. They want to be impressed by when we go out together how we look.
Yeah.
Well, you can look good in $5 jeans and a shirt
Facts.
and still look good because of your attitude.
Facts.
I don't care if somebody see me in what I might have on that looks like I just came from work. That's
Right.
fine. I work a job, but sit down and have a conversation with me. But you think that just because I look a certain way that you can't have a conversation with me. That's fine. You don't have to. And some people, they like to look a certain way. That's
Yeah.
fine. But most of the time you look a certain way, we have a conversation. You got nothing to say.
Man, nah, because you know what, the society, what you was taught. Look at the shows that's being put out to the community. Basketball wives,
Yeah, foolishness.
people that's not even married.
Yeah,
Football wives,
right.
the house of, women of, what was called, I can't think, but y'all know them, like Real Housewives of New Jersey,
Anywhere,
yeah,
right.
Atlanta. They had all this, and if you go look at all them people, they wasn't even married.
Yeah, not only,
These was people that was dealing with superstar.
right,
With entertainers.
right. Keyword right there. You just said it. That's the propaganda. That goes back to everything we've been talking about,
Yeah.
right? So if the propaganda says a certain thing, and I know we're talking about a lot of stuff,
Right.
right? Because this is what we do when we do Black Watch. So
Facts.
it's the same thing. If we're talking about propaganda, then if the propaganda is you want your little girls to be this,
Right.
if you want your boys to be this, right? Instead of saying, I want my son to be a doctor, I want my son to be a lawyer, I want my son to travel the world, I want my son to do something. No, it's cool that you play ball, but get something else out of it bigger than that because you're not going to be playing ball forever.
No, you ain't.
No, but if we want our women to aspire to be this argumentative, disorderly woman that you're going to be out here looking to be with an entertainer, then you put these shows on.
Right.
They don't never say it's for entertainment purposes only. And parents and people, adults, don't
Right.
ever sit there and have that same discussion with their children. Right.
No.
So therefore, when you got this other group of people in the background and I'm distracted in my life But meanwhile, I've got these other people making decisions in my life, and then I want to complain.
Right.
But you were distracted by this propaganda and this foolishness. You weren't paying attention to the fact that other people are talking to your group of people or your so-called leadership, and they're making decisions in the background for you, and you have no clue. But when you find out about it, you want to complain. You can't
Right.
complain then. It's too late.
Yeah. It's rough. You didn't let it go. And that's why I do agree with you with that. I do agree with you with that. It's terrible in the state that we in.
Right.
That's why I'm like, if you see, why you think we get to see more of the butchery, more of like I just said, because now I was watching someone they want to teach kids about proper etiquette eating.
Right. And that it used to be done at home.
Yeah, because here's the thing, because you will see people go out, but that's the thing, you like the stuff that we seeing, because you like I say, it's about money. What do you see? A person come up in here and just show you. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I don't agree with it all the time, but them shows that they showing out here, I think that's what's really hurting the babies. That
Because
they
that's,
giving them a false sense of what a life is really
yeah,
is.
because here's the thing. Who letting them watch it?
Yeah, it's because the parents is hooked on it too.
Either you hooked on it,
Yeah,
or that you got you let your child do whatever they want to do, watching whatever they want to watch. They pick up something like that, and then there you go. And so then we get these young people who are out of order in their thinking because we don't
I'll
live.
fix it, Deborah.
Yeah, we don't live a life that says, okay, you know what? We watching that for entertainment.
Yeah,
And at what point in time are we not sitting there talking to our children to say, that's a bunch of BS. That's not how we live. But let's watch it because it's funny. And then you having a discussion with them.
yeah,
There were many times I can recall that I would do that
yeah.
and I got cut off because you just not letting us enjoy the show. Well, the show is stupid.
I can't watch them type of shows, man. I couldn't watch even what's the name, Maury Povich. When I was here, the "You're Not the Father," man. I thought that was some of the craziest stuff. Even though some people would go up there, lie to make stories up,
Yeah,
just to
definitely.
get some money. Is it that serious?
Yeah, yeah. For them, some people it was.
Like to me, that's what messes me up. It'd be like, dude, I'm not gonna try to embarrass myself, man, just to get a few dollars. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's in the situation we are in now. Or do you think you hit a chord or something?
No, because I got a little bit of battery life left, and I want.
Oh, hold on, I got you. I got
Okay, 'cause I was trying to find it before so we can keep
you. I
talking.
got you. I got you.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we want to become more entertainers than we were. Then we want to be. All right, there we go. We want to be entertained. That's how I run away from the rigors of life, the hardships of life, is to entertain me. But then we don't really want to go like, okay, but you still got to deal with it, right? It's like people that have any addictions.
Right.
They do them to run away from stuff instead of, running to, like, how do I still have to deal with this? I still got to deal with it. Let me go deal with it.
Right. Right.
So we giving our people a false sense of, our people are taking on a false sense of security of things, saying, hey, I'm gonna just go ahead on and handle this because I have to. Right? That's being an adult. That's being an adult.
But see how the stuff is. We headed back to the no accountability.
Oh, see, that's the problem.
See,
Is
yeah,
accountability.
it's like we headed back to no accountability because like we everything is acceptable now that wasn't acceptable at a time.
And so the change in our society and it ain't even a culture. The change in our society has said that we can kind of do what we want to do, but yet when we look at other people, like these people that they put in front of us,
Right.
who can really do what they want to do to a
Right.
certain degree until they cross somebody, then we want to live that lifestyle. Back to what the brother said.
Yeah.
We want to live this particular lifestyle so that we can be decadent, right?
Yeah.
Instead of, so that's the reason I show you these real housewives. They're not even real housewives.
Nah. And then you seeing women that done slept with they done slept with each other, man, behind
Okay.
each other back. It'd be like so much crazy stuff. And then you want to see women out here fighting, cut each other out. Why you think they give them liquor?
Well, not only do they give them liquor for them to be open enough to do that stuff, but why would you want to not tell that to the people that's watching that this is just it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Entertainment is not real.
No, it's not. Cause just
It's fantasy.
look at drugs. How did drugs get into the community?
Oh, we know how drugs got into the community. They brought it into the community. We didn't
That's
bring
what
it
I'm
in.
saying. And then they will lock you up for it. Just look at your entertainers. Then the majority of your entertainers is on drugs.
Yeah, or have been at one time.
Yeah. And then what happened? Entertainer died, but the manager had money.
Yeah.
Tell me how did the entertainer, how is the manager who has no skills, but he can get he living better than you is.
Yeah. We're supposed to. Because he's taking his part right off the top.
Yeah. I was watching something when they was talking about who was I watching this morning? I was watching they was talking about ML King, Malcolm X, because it was talking about when Malcolm X was putting it together, said Martin Luther King couldn't come. This is right before it was talking about how Malcolm X was over there talking to the different people around the world when they was trying to set this something they was gonna do back then.
Right.
And they was like they was gonna put it together, and they was like that was really what drove J. Edgar Hoover crazy.
Yeah, they were talking about when Malcolm went over.
International,
Right,
you know
he
what I'm
was
saying?
talking
He
about
just wasn't local no more.
Right. The Organization of African American Unity. That was the organization he was putting together along with Muslim Mosque Incorporated.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was like, and it was like, but ML King had some, but after that, you start seeing, Malcolm got assassinated because I think he got assassinated before King. Yeah, he got
Yeah, he did,
assassinated.
65.
But you did start seeing King attitude, like with his talking, it was different.
Yeah. Well, because what they have to do is to be able to continue to separate the voices, right? So again, if we go back to what's happening citywide or whatever, as long as you keep everybody
Yeah,
separate,
right.
you can kind of get away with stuff.
Why you think it's such a problem, right? Just go look at it. The black vote in the city is split. You
Yeah.
think that's did by choice? Oh, it just happened by chance.
Well, I don't know if it's done by chance or choice. I know people are not voting in mass like they should, right? Because if you do, then you send a clear message.
Right.
Okay. And what we're not doing is we're not sending clear messages to the person that represent us. Like I keep, and look, y'all get on Brother Mickey because he don't never tell me about when these council meetings are. And I know the reason why, because he said I'm going to be wasting my time. But one time I got to get down there to see, and then I'll walk out shaking my head because I already know.
Okay,
But
here
I
you
watch
go.
them. I watch them on
See.
when they do their council meetings.
See, there you go. Not to cut you off, it was the 1964 Organization of African American Unity that he was partnering at the Organization of African Unity. Yeah, I was, because I'd be up,
Said that. Good. Thank
I'd
for
be up in
backing
the
that up.
morning watching different things.
Right.
And it'd be like, and I'd be seeing, going back, because there's people talking about it now. When you seeing at our leaders, they're just looking at the leaders that we got. Why you think these black leaders be propped up?
Well, see, the difference is the leaders that we had back then. When you look at who's comparing leadership, they were working for the people. Remember that post I put up, and you shared it 1,000 times. That says real true leaders are servants. They do not work in. They are not in position for themselves. Brother Malcolm, was a servant, right? He didn't take no money. He didn't take. People donated stuff for him to have, him and his family to have, right? He didn't take anything for himself. When he went somewhere, people paid for that for him. He
Right.
didn't. He didn't say, "I'm out here making money and doing this, doing a bunch of other things in order to do that." He went and preached. If they gave a donation, they did. If they didn't, he went home pocket, penniless. Okay, so in '64, when he created the Organization of African American Unity, it was patterned after the Organization of African Unity that Gaddafi tried to revive, that was started in the '60s by the Pan-Africanists that started when they studied after Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois.
Mm.
Okay, so Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta, and that group
Mm-hmm.
started the Organization of African Unity. Malcolm's pattern Organization of African American Unity after them in 1964, and he's absolutely right. And then he started Muslim Mosque Incorporated along with it in order to incorporate all the Muslim world and all the Muslims, no matter what the color they were, because he was clear and he understood that they had to get everybody so that everybody would see this issue that they had in the world and support it. What got Malcolm killed more than anything else, I believe, is that he was going to take the United States to the United Nations for human rights violations because of the way that people were being treated in this country and how the United States had their hands in murders of people across the world.
Right.
Patrice Lumumba, and a few other people, but he comes to mind as the most prominent. There are a few other people that they had assassinated over there.
Yeah, because when Malcolm, it was like it was about 5 of them got took out during that
during
time,
that
but
time.
but then nobody really pay attention to it.
Well, they were forced to say, and over in Africa, they just kind of ignored it because you had the colonial powers over there as well
Right.
that were enlisted to help with the destruction of the leadership.
Right.
Okay, so when you have that happen, then you have where you got the same thing,
Right.
right? So
Right.
then over here, you have to continue to destroy the leadership. They
Right.
did that with Fred Hampton, Huey Newton, the Panthers, Bobby Seale. Little Bobby Hutton was the first one to die in 1967, right? 16-year-old brother, 17, was the first one that they killed. All because we're protecting our community, right? The issue that we have here is we're not a community. Because we're a community, if we had issues, they get resolved.
Right.
And people are very clear that we're not a community.
Right.
So therefore, I don't have to worry about resolving issues that you all may have because we're not a community.
Yeah.
And I might hear one person complain, but I'm not hearing 60 or 70 or 100
Right,
people complain
right.
about the same thing. I might hear one person want to talk to me at the store, but I'm not hearing 40 or 50 people want to talk to me at the store.
Right.
Because I'm not making myself available to have this discussion.
I agree with you. That's why I say I think the divide and what it is. 'Cause I seen what Mark Hudson said. He said he believes it started with GM over 100 years ago with the divide of black people, and then that kind of go into what I'm finna say.
Before that you have Ford who hired black people and would send, even though he was a racist. So let's not be real. Because he supported Hitler. All right. So if you didn't know, go do your research. But Ford was the very first company, and he created Dearborn around the plants so that people didn't have to worry about missing time.
Gotcha.
So GM copied the same idea here and other places, right? The reason why we had Chevy in the hole and GM over here on Hamilton, all of those houses were built around so that you didn't have no excuse to miss work. Oh, I'm
Right.
snowed in and I live way over here. No. You live across the street. Get here. So Ford was the very first industrialist that hired black people because hey, I was on a plantation, so we know you can work. And why you think just a little sidebar, why you think they call a plant?
Plantation.
Right.
Right.
So you're going to put these hours in, and you're going to give me your time, and whatever happens, happens.
Right.
Okay? So that he was the first. GM comes later, but they're all in cahoots. You're absolutely right. I agree.
Right. That's why I was saying the point with that was from that standpoint when you seeing how it is because you got to understand the system still got to have its people.
Yeah.
But when you got people that can come in because they didn't had a long time to figure out how they can infiltrate. Why you think they can always buy us off?
It's easy because people want to be part of it. The illusion. What does brother Hubert Robert call it? And I'm hollering at you out too, big bro, because this is yours. The illusion of inclusion. right? So
Right.
if we figure that we can go into a system and make changes that has already have some things in place, you may make some small changes, but as long as you don't upset their status quo,
Right.
now when you start talking about taking money from them and cutting them out of stuff, oh no, we got a problem.
Yeah.
And back in the day, now they may embarrass you and put your stuff out there on in the media, but back in the day, they did worse.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. So it's like you could listen. People can say what they don't want to say. I don't care what nobody say. People love to go shopping.
Yeah.
People love to drive Cadillacs.
Yep.
Love to have to say, I got a big house. All you gotta do is go watch it. So when it's easy, why you think they had the movie said demand?
Right.
Because you always had you was gonna have somebody that can come in and buy whoever you love. You know what it's sad to say it, but it's like we got more sellout leaders now. And I'm talking about in Flint, I'm talking about in this community. More sellout now than probably we had. Because these jokers, what I mean by sellout, for them to get that dollar, if it come between you and them getting that dollar, they'll give you up.
No, well, I don't disagree with that because, and I'm gonna say this again, and we said this before on Black Watch. If a person is there for their personal gain, I don't care as long as you take care of
Right.
the people you're supposed to represent. Cool, we'll support you.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, we got all of this done over here, and this is cleaned up, and this house tore down, and streets are straight over here. Now, what's your next move? Oh, if your next move you look in a state seat, cool, we'll support it. But if you ignoring us and not taking care of the business of the people you're supposed to represent, why are you there?
But see, we got this problem now. We didn't have that back then. From what I've been hearing from the elders, I remember when Reverend Thrill Kells would tell me, he said, man, we didn't have all these people running
sir.
at one time.
Nope.
He said we would have a meeting. We'd
Yep.
go to the church. And then all the churches said they're going to get behind these people who they wanted to vote for. This all cutthroat stuff going on now. Somewhere it got lost
Yeah.
in translation. The
got-
unity part.
Right. It got lost because people are not, number one, accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Number two, it got to a point where if you didn't perform within the next 30 days or whatever, we're gonna pull you out of there ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't do anything in 30 days. You had 30 days to show us that even if you came and changed street light
Right.
bulbs, you did something.
Right.
If you ain't getting that done, then what you there for?
Right.
That may have been a bit longer. And like I said, I remember it being 90 days.
Right.
It wasn't a year. But I don't have to be accountable to anybody.
No, ain't no accountability. Listen, man, listen, these people, I'm going to go with Candace and Brother Leon. Sister Candace and Brother Leon. When they got on them seats, they didn't have to, man, look, they wasn't fair of being recalled, but they did have to fight for their seats now far. They did have a special election.
Right.
But the way they played the game, man, they let the people get comfortable with them. When they was in the seat where they could see them as a council person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So and then when you get the money behind you, and what did they focus at?
They focus where the money at. But then the rest of the people get left out. And so then what's not happening is the rest of the people are not saying anything to them
Right.
about what it is that you're doing in the area, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm comfortable with not having anything over there done for where I live at, but yet I see all this other stuff happening over here where other people hodgepodge and rub elbows with, I should have a problem with that. But if I'm comfortable, then I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, and that's what I see that too. A lot of people, because don't get me wrong, I criticize. I don't criticize. Let me say, I look as a microscope when I see they work from all 8 council people that's up there. You know what I'm saying? I look at all of them, but then I also look at some people who do support the ones who we know not doing real, and I do kind of find it hard. Don't get me wrong. Because, I'll be trying to, how can anybody support, the councilman in the first ward, the councilwoman in the second ward, the councilwoman in the fourth ward, and the councilwoman in the seventh ward? I'm like, how can people who really be trying to defend them, and when they seeing how these people act. And it's cold blood. Even with me, I was a little through back from when the brother came on. Don't get it twisted. And me and Leon, I think the brother's a Muslim. We don't study the same faction. Like I say, I think he's Sunni. I love the Nation of Islam. But when I was saying this brother gonna get on, I'm like, okay, he gonna be a little different. Then I started seeing little moves. I'm like, but that ain't the Islam I understand. You know what I'm saying? When Paul was up there, he was there. Paul called. Cause listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I really don't try to play it. I don't like to play that game. We all done talk bad to each other, so I'm not gonna act like that. But the way Carl, but I ain't gonna say Miss Taylor did anything to Paul, but Paul done called that woman a bitch. Paul done called so many different people bitches, and he was there. And you would have thought like, okay, Leon, we're gonna, we'll probably have like Paul, you gotta do this and that. Didn't pay no attention to it. Don't call it out. See Liddell cut up, do all this and that. He never called her out on it. Even Judy never called her out. But I was thinking in him being a Muslim on certain things, he probably wouldn't roll like that. Cause that's how I'd be looking. I'd be like, okay, fellow Muslim brother, we might don't come up under the same aspects of it, but you know what I'm saying? We do believe. Right. And I'm thinking you could, like certain stuff that he do, I'm like, wow. But I get it. You know what I'm saying? He got a job he got to do. You know what I'm saying? To stay in grace, it ain't about, you know what I'm saying, about the people.
Right. I get you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even with the Hasselbrink thing, he never came up there and said nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that in this war too?
Yeah. Even to being that, you didn't even go, you know what I'm saying? You had Ed Taylor talking and the mayor talking. And like when the residents was asking him, well, no, you are council person. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's crazy to see people defend that. Like, and that's what like kind of, and I get it, you know what I'm saying? But when you can see, and then he voted 99% of the time, you're right, Mark. It messed, I learned quick though. But I knew when he got picked, he was picked to do a job, and it wasn't for the residents.
Well, yeah, so therefore, once again, that goes to a political action committee.
Yeah.
Even if it's a religious institution, if your allegiance is to that and not your people, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
So why is he still there? Or anybody?
No, they voted for him.
Okay.
You had the first one, but what it is, we got so much hatred amongst each other because that whole Hasselbrink thing was messed up where they let the mayor come in and divide them people up. That was cold-blooded, but he played on their greed. Hey, you know what, Brother Elliot, I'm going to give you a position. Because we was hearing it, like I said, I ain't going to go into it, but we was hearing how people was promised these positions and stuff. So they was going along with the mayor.
Okay.
Because they wasn't probably in the position when Miss Beverly Lewis was, because she running it. But now it's not even called Hasselbrink, it's called the Eric May Senior Center.
Right.
That council didn't even approve. The mayor approved it.
So, and it was interesting when I saw that because I'm not clear, and I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't have any, so if somebody knows different, please clear it up for me.
Right.
I'm not sure what was their relationship like. Was their relationship politically cool and personally cool?
Who, Miss Beverly, the director of the Hasselbrink, and Leon?
Or no, I'm talking about Mays.
Yeah, I guess he was cool with her. They ain't had no problem. I mean, from what I know.
Okay.
He the one helped to get back open.
Okay, all right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what was the reason for it being closed in the first place? I'm just asking.
No, it was up under emergency management.
Oh. Okay.
And then Mays fought hard to get it back open.
Right.
From what my understanding was, the mayor fell out with her because she had Rivet up there. When Rivet was running for that, what was the District 8 seat?
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I guess he got mad at her because he wanted that seat or something. He got mad, but yet it's Christine Rivet. He got mad, but yeah, he was just at a get to it. When he had her here, he was smiling all in Rivet's face. But yet, look how you did Miss Beverly them and threw her out. Well, thank God that, Pastor Reed them took her in over there. But see how crazy that is? And then you didn't even have, and then Leon, like I say, that brother, even they said Leon wasn't talking to them, but Leon would come on council saying he was talking to them. So it's kind of crazy.
So therefore, it sounds like it was more personal than it was
On the mayor's side. Yeah,
business related.
right, because he got told he can't do it. Now, even though you might hear him talking, but you know it's the mayor talking. That's
Okay.
just like with St. Mark's. He got up when it was time to vote. He got up and walked away. Because he know if he would have been sitting there, he don't want the people to see like, hey, why you can't vote for St. Mark's Church.
Mm, mm.
Liddell ain't voting for it because she cussed Pastor Thompson out not once but twice. But
Okay.
she always, she cussed him out when we was at the studio one time, and she showed her ass at the Flint Public Library. Then cussed Maurice Davis out at Southwestern Academy. Showed her ass up there. Did you hear anything from the school board? Nope. You hear anything from the superintendent? Nope.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm out the loop with.
Yeah, see, this all
I
the
got to
stuff.
come out of my study.
Yeah, see, this all the stuff that's going on, and this how you see how messy these people are. Even with, I even seen what's that with Chris Martin. I know he ain't no God ain't sent him to pastor. I don't care what nobody say, and I bet my last dollar God ain't called for him. I watch how messy he be on Facebook with Liddell. So I can understand Liddell go to his church in mess, be in mess. You know, he was not too long ago. He said God told him that the Kansas City Chiefs was going to win the Super Bowl. Not God told him was the Flint water going to be fixed. Not told him how the end of the world, how when he was coming back. He told him. That's why Kansas City Chiefs probably lost. The Chiefs owner, the Hunt family, you need to come look for Bishop Chris Martin from the Church of Satan and Lies. I'm just saying. But these are the type of people that people be following up under.
Yeah, but that's because people
Crazy
are not
work.
looking for leadership in the mirror. They're looking for leadership outside of themselves.
Crazy work, man.
Right.
I never seen nothing like this.
You're not gonna get somebody tell me how I'm supposed to live my life, how I'm supposed to do this, unless I know that they're a righteous elder.
Right.
And I'm 61. Unless I know they're a righteous elder and they can guide me in a certain way. You don't know. And you got to tell me why I should do it that way. Period.
Football, though. God talked to him. God can't. We got a Bible. We got a book. God talked to everybody else. But Chris Martin was the only one. He talked about the Super Bowl.
But why, if God talked to you about the Super Bowl, then if vast and wise and omnipotent as God is, then we'd all heard it.
That's what Chris must have betted on a parlay or something because they said he wasn't happy after the next day.
Man.
But this the stuff that we deal with. I'm gonna give you another example. I watched this brother go after Devontae Powell, a pastor. The brother was gay. He was this when he came in. He was that. You know, when he see Dana Nessel, he don't bring up about being who gay and who not.
Oh wow.
Oh, you know he ain't gonna do that to Dana Nessel. Because you know what I got to hear him say on the phone call? Thanks to the Bishop, A.C. Dumas, because he had it on intercom. We was at the headquarters. I got to be loyal to whoever in that mayor's seat. He didn't say he had to be loyal to God. He said he had to be loyal to whoever in that mayor's seat.
Right. First and foremost, that's who your loyalty to is supposed to be
But-
your higher power that you're supposed to believe in.
But these people running in his church. When he was dissing Devontae Powell, that brother,
Yeah.
all saying he was gay, this and that, you this and that. But you know what? He never uttered a word out about Dana Nessel. Never uttered a word.
Wow.
But you know why he not gonna utter no word? Because he know how he get his money.
Right.
You know, that was a planned attack when he did that to Devontae Powell. You know, we was the first. We played the tape when he cut up like that already. But you know, with these people, you know, but
So that shows you that these people that are supposed to be men and women of God
Right.
are not men and women of God. Because that's you, my brother.
Right.
Right. And you hear me say that all the time. If I see you do some messy stuff, let me say, I'm gonna use you as an example.
Facts.
It's not my job. My job is, hey, bro, hey, man, you know better than that,
Right.
Hey, man. Let me not to. Oh, yeah, man, Uncle Mickey on some messy stuff. Hey,
Yeah.
don't mess. No, that's not being godly.
Right.
That's not being a man of God. It's not being a community person. It's not being a community leader.
Right.
My job is, hey, man, let me holler at you in the office. No, we turn off your phone, turn off my phone, turn the cameras off. Let me talk to you. Hey, bro, you know what that did was wrong, man. That was out.
Facts.
Because when people want to be seen and heard, and see, that's the reason why I said what I said about leadership. Leadership is about shutting your mouth and serving people.
They got it backwards here. They want the people to shut their mouth and the people to serve them while they
But see,
collect the
that's the
money.
reason why I'm my own man.
Right.
Because none of y'all put your pants on by throwing them up in the air, jumping up, and they slide on
Right.
magically. You got to put
Right.
them on one leg at a time like everybody else. And
Right.
if you're not willing to, if you're willing to be destructive towards people, then you're not a leader. And I don't know how you think you can lead men and or women. But because we got to find somebody to lead us, that's part of the problem. Our biggest problem is we want somebody to tell us what to do,
Yep.
other than doing our own, whether you meditate, pray, whatever, and figure out what you need to do for yourself and your family every single day.
Right.
That's real leadership.
Right.
Not somebody who want to be destructive of other people and all of it, and even in council, right? If you're gonna be a leader, then be a real leader.
Right.
We don't care if you put a few extra dollars in your pocket as long as you're taking care of me.
Right.
We don't care. That's part of the so-called American way.
Right.
Right? That's business.
Right.
You can't tell me as a school teacher I can't get an extra case of ink pens for myself when I'm sitting here working every single day.
Unbelievable.
Right? So, can't you order an extra set of ink pens and are you using them to teach with? Yeah. They're at my house. They're mine. Because if I put in 8 hours plus a day,
right,
and my weekends and my time off and everything else in order to work at preparing students to be good people and not just test takers,
right,
then don't complain about me lining my pockets with ink pens and another package of paper.
They be worried about the wrong stuff.
You be worried about the wrong stuff.
Yeah, but you ain't worried about you got a superintendent making damn at $200-something
thousand,
but a 5% graduation rate. Kids can't. They graduating.
That
you got
insane.
seniors graduating with a reading level of 4th and 5th graders.
Right.
But you got 200,000.
And there's absolutely no way that they can perform. And colleges know this.
Right.
Right? There's absolutely no way that they can perform at a level if they desire to go to college because you cannot comprehend. You cannot read. You can't do certain basic math. And you only got 5% of your people graduating. Leadership is horrible.
Right.
All across the board.
Yeah.
Not just at the top, but it also trickles down.
Yeah.
And then you have to, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Then you also have to make sure that families are accountable. And I'm telling y'all this as a teacher. If you sending me your child and you expect me to raise them, then get out of my way when I raise them how I raise them. Because I'm old school.
Right.
So don't sit there and come, you can't touch my kid. You take your kid home, teach that kid how to read and write, and how to conduct themselves in school, then send them back to me.
Right.
See, we don't want to do that. We want to send our kids out there emotional wrecks, and they can do this, and they act this way, and that's okay. But what did you do? No. Don't blame me. It's your child, and it's you.
Right.
Because we have to work together.
Right. I shouldn't have to be chasing Johnny around the damn class all day.
If I had to chase Johnny around the class, he gonna be a track star when I get finished. From the time he get there to the time he leave, he gonna be, you like to run? Keep running.
Right.
Keep running. Don't stop. No.
Right.
Keep running.
Right.
You like to run? Nope. You ain't leave the room. Run. I told you I had a student like that before.
Right.
This kid, he had ADD. Nope. No, he don't. You're not gonna put him on medicine. You're not gonna do none of that.
Right.
But I knew when he got hyped up, I send him out of the back of the building, go to the back door, I leave the door open, run down to the other end of the building, and run back. He come in and do his work. Wintertime come, Mr. McKenzie, I gotta go. Okay, go, run, go, come back. When he got to middle school and got to high school, he would, if I need some help with some schoolwork, he'd call me and he'd run from the high school, run down to my classroom, get some help, and then run back before class was over with. That boy went on to be a track star.
See?
You want to run? No problem. But don't tell me I can't keep it. No, you can't do nothing to my child, but you're not doing nothing with your child. But that's because we don't have a community anymore. Or even when we had the community school initiative, they made sure that we were community. You can't call it Flint Community Schools if you're not being community. And that's part of the problem. Right. So therefore, if I'm not making sure that any resource And this is the reason why it's called community schools. Any resource that was necessary for the families around the school, they have it. It came through the school. Oh, there's my mics over here.
Yeah.
It came through the school. I have to remember. It came through the school. It
Right.
didn't come from another source outside.
Right.
So if they needed reading skills, I mean, I was there.
Right.
Then we got to say after school, learn how to read. You couldn't perform and be on Fridays when we had skating movie day on Fridays unless you did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And if you need some help, you didn't go to the movies and skating. You just sat up there and did your schoolwork. And then they make sure we got home. It wasn't just walk home by yourself and walk to the bus stop. No. They would make sure we got home.
Right.
We had teen club.
Right.
You couldn't do no activities unless you showed that all your schoolwork for all your classes was done. You got checked up. Okay, now you can go watch a movie. Now you can go skate. Now you can go do all of this other stuff. We've lost that. Part of it is because of the rule of law, and part of that's because some teachers may have gotten overzealous when they were doing corporal punishment, and they did.
Yeah.
And part of it is that our parents are parenting. So this is a 3-pronged triangle that we're not doing to assure that we don't have 5% graduation rates, that we don't have 4th grade reading levels, and for people that are 17, 18 years old, that we limit the drop. I remember going to school with a brother who dropped out of school because he took care of his parents who were sickly. And when he passed away, he wanted to graduate, get a high school diploma. He didn't want to go get a GED because they didn't have them there. He had to go to night school. No, I want to graduate my class. And he was 3 years older than us. But because he had to take time off, he had counselors dropping his schoolwork off over there and picking it up for him. He wanted to graduate and have a diploma. And he had to fight to get it, and they let him do it. But because we were a community, we helped him out. We're no longer a community. They've destroyed that, and we've let it happen. But everything that's happened in the world, the water thing that's across the world. But the things that destroyed our community, we have not decided to recover from. We just go, oh, it's okay to be doing what it's doing, how it's doing, and we'll just figure it out. No.
Right.
Because at one time, Little Beirut was a place to live.
I tried to tell people that a lot of these places, you know what I'm saying?
Atherton East was a place to live.
Right.
Townhouses, real nice.
Yeah, back in the 60s and
60s and part of the 80s.
Then
but
it went
until
down.
all of this others, and what happened? We had the drug epidemic that we didn't have nothing to do with.
Yeah, when crack came here, when they dropped that crack rock in this city.
It destroyed everything.
It destroyed. I'm talking about that crack rock destroyed. Didn't nobody get in trouble but the people that were selling it.
That's all.
The inner city people.
Yeah.
Not the ones who manufactured it.
No.
Because look at Oliver North with Iran-Contra. Did he get in trouble? Did Reagan?
2 years, and then he got millions of dollars to sit on top of that.
But what happened to Reagan? Because he was in on it.
Nothing. No, he was no different than what this president is talking about doing. He got presidential pardon powers.
Right.
So therefore, he pardoned all of those people for January 6th, which is his group. But what are we mad at?
Right.
Don't be mad. You're prepared.
Right.
So once again, this means study. That even includes me, right? So now I got to study politics more, not just locally, but globally. So that's got to add that to my arsenal of things that I know.
Right.
Right.
But don't nobody study that.
No,
though.
we don't want to study that.
No.
We want to base things based on emotional
Facts.
response. Hey, that's my friend. I'm gonna vote for him. No.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine was running for school board years back. I ain't gonna say his name.
Thank you, Christy Coleman.
Yeah, thank you all. And I'm not gonna say, as he come knocking on my door, hey man, you vote for me? I said, man, you know I'm a teacher, so what's your agenda? Okay, no. When you come back to me when you have an agenda, that's gonna be the benefit of the students of the city.
Facts.
And then we'll talk. So guess what? I never saw him again. He got elected as the board president, on the board as a board president, all because of his popularity. Not because of what. Now, he might have known stuff. I'm not saying he didn't. But as an educator, I'm asking you what your agenda is, and you can't tell me?
They don't have no agenda, Brother Elliot. Most of these people get on their board, they don't have no agenda. They have people that's going to tell them what they can do. And that's how you start seeing them little
Yeah.
fringe benefits go down. A lot of these people don't know what they doing. The Flint school board, the school system wouldn't have been in this shop. But I'm not just going to say from this school board it got bad. Listen, it was numerous boards that caused this problem. So don't just think, but it's the people who was last in charge.
Right. And before that. So we have to go back. There were other members of the school board and the superintendency that this trickle-down effect that we're dealing with now started before them.
Right.
Right?
Right.
There was a man here, his last name was Chu.
Chu, yeah.
Okay. He was like, look, we need to cut this, we need to cut that, we need to cut the other, whatever. And he even cut his own salary. And people hated him for it. Because he was a man outside of the system who didn't know the community system.
Right.
And he was like, this needs to go. And at that time, we had way more students and way more schools.
He was saying one high school to one middle school. He was already saying what needed to be done.
Right. Yeah. So therefore, what people wanted to do was get rid of them.
Right.
Because the place was in a deficit. And now, I don't recall if he ever turned it around. It's been a while. I don't recall if he ever turned it around, but
I did hear they said he was one of the, if not one of the best superintendents that was, I'm just telling you what some people have said. Mm-hmm. He was the superintendent compared to all the ones after him been trash. I'm just telling you what I was told. They said every last one.
I can agree with that.
They said every last one after him been trash.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It ain't been nothing but a money grab.
Yeah, yeah.
And these from teachers that I be hearing this from. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
They said everyone after him been trash.
Yeah, because he was about business. He was about the business of education.
Right.
He wasn't about just and he, if I recall, and they can correct me, is he was talking about increasing teacher salary back then. Right? So even a starting teacher, you're not coming in at the lowest wage. You're coming up here to something livable because you got work to do.
Right.
But he was also demanding, and here was the issue, because I know he was Oriental, right? Chinese or Korean or something. I don't recall. But he's demanding that we partake as parents in the education of our children before they come to school, which is what we used to do.
Wow.
That's what we used to do. It wasn't I still to this day, my son is out of school, my oldest daughter's out of school, my youngest daughter's still in school. She got a few more weeks before she's out. Okay. But I still ask what you learned in school today.
Facts. Smart, because you involved. Parents was like that when we was coming up.
Yeah. It wasn't take your things and throw the stuff away and say he never gave them to me. If I give homework every day, I give homework every day.
Facts.
Right? So then if I let y'all know, hey, y'all got homework. Now, what most of the kids don't do is they don't go home and do it. That ain't on me.
Right.
Why they got a bad grade? Because you didn't do your homework.
Right. And that's what it usually is, because you didn't do it.
Right. Because then you want to argue. Parents want to come here and argue. Well, why they got a bad grade? Ask them. They ain't doing their schoolwork. They ain't taking their test seriously. They're not doing this seriously.
Facts.
Don't come and ask me during parent-teacher conference the reason why they got bad grades.
Right.
That's on them.
Right. That
ain't got nothing to do with me. That's on them.
He come in here and stare out the window for hours. And
right.
You wondering why
why it's playing the game or whatever else.
Right.
And one of the reasons why my grades bad, because when you look in his book bag, you find that all the papers is in there.
Right.
Or go find them in the locker or find them in the trash on the way out the door. That ain't on me. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
My job is to build a better person by any means necessary. Thank you, Brother Malcolm. Like whether it be reading, writing, whatever. But if I call you, I might call you once or twice. I'm not calling every day. I don't have time.
Right.
But I'm not going to call you every single day in order to tell you your child got schoolwork to do. Your child got this. Y'all know, I sent the letter home at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year. Right. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Here's your way that you can get in touch with me.
Right.
But I don't have nobody call me. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know they got lives too.
Yeah.
But your life is not as important as the life of your child.
Right.
So we've lost community so that people can do what they want to
Right.
because there's no demands on those peoples that are supposed to be leadership.
Facts. Well, we got to hold them accountable. We at
That's it.
the end.
That's
We at
it.
the end. You got
That's
anything
it.
you want to say, brother, to the people?
I appreciate you all listening. I appreciate your feedback. Check us out on Sundays at 1:30. Okay. Sometimes if we're not there, it's either I'm doing something or he's got something going on. Please check us out at 1:30 on Sunday. Study to show thyself approved. That's in every culture. Study, right? And if you want something from someone, you have to demand it from yourself and then demand it from them as well. All right?
And thank you, Deborah Luna, with the $5 super chat on $5 Fridays. Merck76, thank you. Everybody said it was a good show. Tap in with Brother Elliot on Sundays, every Sunday at 1:30. And you might
Please.
catch us through the weekdays because, if I call him and say, hey, brother, the day before, let's put something together, he never say no.
Yeah, please.
He
please,
never
please.
say no. So please tap in. Trevor Berry Hill with the super chat, $5 Friday. Please tap into the Brother Elliott show. Please tap in on Sundays at 1:30 and catch us out. You might catch us through the week.
Yeah.
You might catch us on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday. But tap in, family.
Please.
And thank y'all for
Yeah.
tapping in.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you very much.